On an ordinary Tuesday morning in the small village of Semmankuppam, life was unfolding as it always did. The sun was rising, casting a golden glow over the landscape, and the air was filled with the promise of a new day. The routine sounds of children heading to school filled the air, laughter, chatter, and the hurried footsteps of young ones eager to begin their day. School vans rumbled along the roads, carrying precious cargo towards education and opportunity. But on this particular morning, the ordinary was about to be shattered, the familiar replaced by the unimaginable. The sounds of joy and anticipation were soon to be drowned out by the deafening roar of metal against metal, a sound that would forever haunt the memories of those who witnessed it. Tragedy was looming, unseen and unexpected. The routine sounds of children heading to school were shattered by tragedy. A school van, carrying young students full of dreams and potential, collided with a passenger train at an unmanned railway crossing. The impact was devastating, a violent collision of innocence and unforgiving force. What began as a typical daily commute instantly transformed into a national nightmare, a scene of chaos and despair that would grip the nation's attention and spark a wave of grief and outrage. This was not just an accident, it was a stark reminder of systemic failures, a consequence of negligence and a disregard for the safety of our most vulnerable. It was a devastating loss of young lives, futures extinguished in an instant, leaving behind a void that could never be filled. School bags lay scattered amidst the wreckage, silent testaments to the dreams that would never be realized. And a community plunged into grief, a collective mourning that echoed through the streets of Semmankuppam and beyond. Families were torn apart, their hearts shattered by the unbearable pain of losing a child. The Semmankuppam tragedy exposes deep flaws in our public safety systems, highlighting the urgent need for accountability and reform. It revealed the dangers of neglected infrastructure and the consequences of prioritizing convenience over caution. It forces us to question the value we place on protecting our children, demanding a critical examination of the measures in place to ensure their safety on their daily journeys. Are we doing enough to safeguard their lives, or are we turning a blind eye to the risks they face every day? For the families, this day will forever be marked by unbearable sorrow, a constant reminder of the precious lives lost and the dreams that will never come to fruition. It is a reflection of a larger societal failure, a collective responsibility to ensure that such tragedies are never repeated. As we examine what went wrong, dissecting the chain of events that led to this devastating outcome, we must not lose sight of the human cost. We must remember the children whose futures were stolen in an instant, their potential forever unrealized. Their faces, full of innocence and promise, should serve as a constant reminder of the stakes involved. Their loss must drive us to demand real change, to hold those responsible accountable, and to implement concrete measures to prevent such a tragedy from ever happening again. Only then can we begin to honor their memory and ensure that their lives were not lost in vain, so such a tragedy never happens again. July 8th, 2025. A seemingly ordinary day dawned, unaware of the tragedy that was about to unfold. The sun rose, casting its golden rays upon the landscape as people began their daily routines, oblivious to the impending disaster. In the town of Cuddalore, life began like any other school day. Children, full of energy and enthusiasm, prepared for their lessons, eager to learn and explore the world around them. Parents bid them farewell, sending them off with smiles and words of encouragement, never imagining that this would be the last time they would see their beloved children. A small school van, painted in bright colors and filled with the laughter and chatter of young children, embarked on its daily route. The van, a familiar sight in the town, was a symbol of hope and promise, carrying the future generation towards a brighter tomorrow. The route took it towards the railway tracks at Semmankuppam, a seemingly innocuous crossing that would soon become the site of unimaginable horror. The tracks, stretching endlessly into the horizon, represented both connection and danger, a constant reminder of the power and speed of modern transportation. At around 7:45 a.m., the morning air was filled with a sense of anticipation as the day's activities began to unfold. Little did anyone know that time was running out and that a catastrophic event was about to shatter the peace and tranquility of the morning. As the van neared level crossing gate 170, a critical juncture in the journey, the driver prepared to navigate the intersection of road and rail. The crossing, a point of potential conflict, required caution and vigilance, a constant awareness of the risks involved. Unbeknownst to the van's occupants, the Viluppuram Mayiladuthurai passenger train was fast approaching, hurtling down the tracks with relentless speed. The train, a symbol of progress and connectivity, was on a collision course with the unsuspecting van, setting the stage for a devastating tragedy. In a fateful decision, the van tried to cross the tracks, perhaps unaware of the train's proximity or misjudging its speed. The attempt, born out of haste or miscalculation, would have catastrophic consequences, altering the lives of countless individuals forever. In a horrific instant, the train slammed into the van with devastating force, the impact echoing through the surrounding countryside. The collision, a violent and destructive event, marked the beginning of a nightmare that would haunt the community for years to come. The impact crumpled the van like a tin can, its metal frame twisted and torn beyond recognition. The vehicle, once a symbol of safety and transportation, was now a mangled wreck, a grim reminder of the fragility of life. The scene was one of utter chaos, with debris scattered across the tracks and the air filled with the sounds of sirens and screams. Emergency responders rushed to the scene, desperately trying to rescue the injured and provide comfort to the traumatized. The aftermath was a scene of profound heartbreak, as families and friends gathered to mourn the loss of their loved ones. Grief and despair permeated the air, as the community struggled to come to terms with the magnitude of the tragedy. This particular crossing was manned, relying on a human gatekeeper rather than an automated system. The responsibility for ensuring safety rested on the shoulders of an individual, a single point of failure in a complex system. The safety of countless lives depended on the gatekeeper's vigilance, their ability to accurately assess the situation and take appropriate action. But in this instance, something went terribly wrong, leading to devastating consequences. In those critical moments, a confluence of factors conspired to create a perfect storm of tragedy. Every second counted, and any delay or misjudgment could have fatal consequences. A series of failures, both human and systemic, ultimately led to this horrific disaster. The accident exposed vulnerabilities in the railway safety protocols and raised serious questions about the adequacy of existing safeguards. The key question that everyone was asking was, why was the van on the tracks at the precise moment the train was approaching? What series of events led to this catastrophic intersection of vehicle and train? Finding the answer became the focus of a national investigation, a comprehensive inquiry aimed at uncovering the truth and preventing similar tragedies from happening in the future. The nation demanded answers, seeking accountability and a commitment to ensuring the safety of its citizens. The aftermath was chaos and heartbreak. 3 students lost their lives instantly, children with dreams, families, and futures. 10 others, along with the van driver, were seriously injured and rushed to the hospital. The community was left in shock. The school transformed from a place of learning to one of mourning. Parents faced unimaginable grief, and classmates struggled to process the loss. First responders and witnesses were left with lasting trauma. The empty desks and silent homes are a haunting reminder of the human cost of this preventable tragedy. In the search for answers, blame quickly focused on 2 people, the railway gatekeeper and the school van driver. Some eyewitnesses accused the gatekeeper, Pankaj Sharma, of sleeping or being intoxicated, failing to close the gate in time. Others claimed the van driver tried to force his way through a closing barrier, ignoring safety protocols. The truth was clouded by conflicting accounts and raw emotion. Was it negligence by the gatekeeper, recklessness by the driver, or both? The investigation would have to untangle these critical seconds to find out what really happened. Southern Railway's official statement defended the gatekeeper, saying he was closing the gate as the train approached. They blamed the van driver for trying to cross while the gate was being shut, calling it a violation of safety rules. Yet, the gatekeeper was suspended pending inquiry, acknowledging possible negligence. Police began their own investigation, collecting evidence and interviewing witnesses. Both agencies faced the challenge of piecing together a timeline from conflicting stories, At the heart of it all, a critical human failure at a crossing that relied on manual action, not automation. The Tamil Nadu government responded swiftly. Chief Minister M.K. Stalin expressed deep sorrow and announced compensation 5 lakh rupees for each bereaved family and aid for the injured. The government also ensured the best possible medical care for survivors, directing hospitals to prioritize their treatment. These actions, while unable to undo the tragedy, offered immediate support to grieving families. The state's response was a signal of solidarity and a commitment to help those affected. But for the families, no amount of compensation could fill the void left by their children. The focus now shifted to preventing such tragedies in the future. The accident quickly sparked a political storm. It was revealed that a railway underpass at the accident site had been sanctioned a year earlier, but was delayed due to pending district-level permissions. This bureaucratic hold-up became a symbol of systemic failure. Political opponents seized on the delay, blaming the government for not prioritizing safety. The debate shifted from individual error to administrative inertia. The tragedy highlighted how critical infrastructure projects can be stalled by red tape, with deadly consequences. The Semmankuppam accident became a case study in the cost of delayed action. Amid grief, a new controversy emerged, this time over language. Some leaders blamed the accident on the gatekeepers' lack of Tamil proficiency, arguing that local language skills are essential for safety roles. This sparked a heated debate about recruitment policies and regional identity. Critics argued that appointing non-local staff in key positions can endanger public safety. Supporters of this view said communication failures may have contributed to the tragedy. Others condemned the language debate as divisive, but it struck a chord with many in Tamil Nadu. The accident became a flashpoint for broader cultural and political tensions. The Semmankuppam tragedy is a devastating reminder of the vulnerabilities in our system. It's a wake-up call, a piercing alarm that demands urgent and comprehensive reform. We can no longer afford to turn a blind eye to the systemic issues that put our children and citizens at risk every single day. This isn't just about addressing the immediate aftermath. It's about preventing future tragedies through proactive and meaningful change. First, all sanctioned underpasses, which have been languishing in bureaucratic limbo, and overbridges must be built without delay. These projects are not mere infrastructure improvements. They are lifelines that separate safety from potential disaster. The time for endless planning and postponed action is over. We need concrete results, and we need them now. Bureaucratic hurdles can no longer be an excuse for inaction. The red tape must be cut, and the processes streamlined. Lives are at stake, and efficiency must be prioritized above all else. We need to see a tangible commitment from our governing bodies to expedite these critical projects. Where manned crossings remain, often due to logistical challenges or resource constraints, technology like automated gates, equipped with sensors and fail-safe mechanisms, and better, more comprehensive training for staff are essential. This training must encompass not only operational procedures, but also emergency response protocols and risk assessment skills. School van drivers, entrusted with the precious cargo of our children, must face stricter regulations, including rigorous background checks and regular performance evaluations. Furthermore, mandatory safety training, focusing on defensive driving techniques, vehicle maintenance, and emergency procedures, is non-negotiable. Schools and transport companies must be held accountable for safety lapses. There must be clear lines of responsibility and consequences for negligence. Public awareness campaigns and stringent enforcement of traffic laws must make safety non-negotiable. We need to cultivate a culture of safety, where every citizen understands their role in preventing accidents. We, as a society, must demand accountability at every level, ensuring that those in positions of power are held responsible for upholding safety standards. This accountability must extend from local officials, who are directly responsible for implementing safety measures, to national leaders, who set the policy agenda and allocate resources. The memory of the children lost in Semmankuppam must drive us to build a safer future, a future where such tragedies are relegated to the history books, a future where a journey to school is never a risk but a safe and secure passage towards knowledge and opportunity.